That's not gonna do it. Hold on. I wonder if I should hit that. It can't hurt. We can't hurt it. No?
Sarah, I'm going to step away for 30 seconds to make sure that my parents were able to connect to that. Okay. I'll be right back.
I'm try it over. Try the connection over.
We are live.
Wonderful. Well, welcome and thank you for joining us for this year's virtual Hall of Distinction induction ceremony. Although we cannot gather in person for this auspicious event, we are no less proud and honored to be inducting 4 distinguished alumni this evening. This year's inductees were selected by a district-wide committee who reviewed 20 applications and selected our 4 honorees this evening. I would like to thank our committee members, which include Board of Education member, Mr. Daniel Seidberg, Assistant Superintendent for Instruction, Dr. Mary Coughlin, Executive High School Principal, Dr. Raymond Kilmer, Fayetteville Elementary School teacher, Ms. Lisa Geraci, Eagle Hill Middle School teacher, Ms. Bridget Wanovich, and high school English teacher, Ms. Biz Wheeler. I'd like to thank them all for their commitment and support during this entire selection process. Now it gives me great honor to introduce those individuals who nominated our honorees. Now, before that, I believe we have a video that Ms. Gridley will activate. Well, welcome to the proud tradition that is the Fayetteville-Manlius Hall of Distinction. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ms. Deborah Herman to introduce our first honoree.
Thank you so much. I want to thank Dr. Tice and the selection committee of the FM Hall of Fame for choosing Indu for this prestigious award. I also want to thank Sarah Gridley for her working so diligently to make this ceremony a reality. So I know that Indu in her remarks are going to speak on her impressive journey after she graduated from FM high school at the Center for Disease Control and working her way to her PhD and her MPH. She has been incredibly successful. And what I really want to spend a few minutes is telling you about Indu when she was in high school and what I remember of this remarkable person at a young age. She graduated in 1980 from FM, and she was also an FM ABC program alumna. For those of you who aren't familiar with the program, it's part of a national organization called The Better Chance that started in the civil rights era and offers academically talented students of color an opportunity to attend a premier college preparatory school. The FM ABC House in Manlius is a part of the community school program of A Better Chance, where scholars live away from their home in a suburban community with an excellent public school, which was FM High School. So in 1977, Indu left her home in Ohio, moved into the FM ABC house where she lived during the academic year with 2 resident directors, 2 resident advisors, and 6 other female students while she attended FM high school. And as we all know from experience, starting high school is challenging in the best of circumstances when you have a group of friends and you're familiar with your community. But you can imagine what it was like for someone who was brand new. Everything was new to Indu. Sharing a bedroom with another teenage girl, having surrogate parents who she didn't know, attending a high school with no one she knew except the 6 other students in the program. And I was one of the surrogate parents, resident directors at the time at the house. What impressed me the most about Indu was her courage, her integrity, and her analytical thought process, which was evident even at the age of 14. She always had a smile and positive attitude for any situation. She showed concern not only for herself, but for the greater collective of the house. And she was way wise beyond her years. She always strived to do her best academically and looked after everyone in the house, especially our golden retriever, Zorba, who she loved to take for walks in the village. I believe my co-director, Ira Baumgarten, who's listening on the YouTube, put it best in describing Indu, that even while she was in high school, she approached everything as a scientist with an incredible mind who also had the biggest heart. We are sure that this is one of the reasons that she has had such a successful career with the CDC. And Indu, we are both proud of the woman you've become, and we congratulate you on this well-deserved recognition and award. Thank you.
Wow, you're making me cry, Deb. Well, thank you, Dr. Tice, Deb, and the FM School District. I'm both humbled and honored, as you can tell from my voice. Sorry. So my journey, as Deb said, really began from Cleveland, where I grew up, to Manlius via the ABC program. And I'd like to thank my own family for taking the leap of faith and putting me in the hands of, a very different community with very little ties. So what I really need to start doing is thanking the community members who supported the ABC program and continue to do so today. And again, my special sages in the program included the Kordeleskis, Barbara Sutton, who I believe is listening, and Reverend Silva, without whose guidance and support, I don't think I would have made the transition being away from home. And special thanks really goes to Deb and Ira and Zorba, I think saved me as being my constant companion. And beyond that, the host families who extended the welcome of the warmth beyond the school. And I'm really grateful for their children. Many of them are probably, they're grown up, and I do keep in touch with them, for sharing their families, because it is very difficult to share your family with others at such a vulnerable age. And I'm really grateful for them having allowed me the opportunity to be part of them, especially the Germacks, the Bermans, the Schillings and Manions, who have a very special place in my heart and always will. FM was and continues to be a place where academics are nurtured and inclusion and diversity celebrated, and I'm homage to that. I want to thank you for helping young women grow and realize their academic potential. It was really fun for me to go look at the FM website and to see with what diligence the school system has adapted to the SARS-CoV pandemic, and continuing to support the students and help them grow in this environment. And as a public health person, I'm really quite proud of that, seeing what you've done. And as I reflect on my FM days, I've done a lot of reflection in terms of the science curriculum headed by Mrs. Key and Miss Roy, who took me in their wing and shaped my future way beyond I even realized at the time. And, I would be remiss not to say something about the persistent efforts instilled by Mrs. Massey, who was a home ec teacher, and Mr. Sheridan, the school counselor. They stay with me, and the hobbies I learned have stayed with me, and I, to this day, to be honest. As I think Deb mentioned, I went on to graduate from Amherst College with a dual degree in biology and anthropology after FM. Subsequently attended graduate school, earning my master's and a doctorate in public health. And what's interesting about it is my career has allowed me to work on emerging public health challenges such as Ebola, SARS-CoV-19 pandemic, as well as persistent ones facing not only us in the United States, but globally, where I serve as a branch chief for the Global Tobacco Program. So I get to work with many, many countries across the globe on fighting tobacco epidemic, which I'm really, I think that makes me very proud to be a public servant. And I would ask all the FM students who may be listening to this is consider public service as a career, because it really gives you way more than you take away from it. Again, I'm humbled by this honor and always hold FM and the ABC program at the highest esteem. I wouldn't be a good steward of public health if I didn't make a last plea to wear a mask, practice social distancing, and wash your hands. Thank you. Back to you. And I do want to share my, I still hold my letters.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Deborah, you were about to say something?
Just congratulations. Thank you, Dr. Tice.
A well-deserved honor. Next up, we have a second of our 4 recipients, and I would like to introduce the Ryans. Pamela Ryan, if you will do us the honor.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Ed, this is my husband, Ed, and I are pleased to be here to celebrate the induction of these outstanding alumni into the Hall of Distinction. We've known Cynthia and her family since we moved to Fayetteville 40 plus years ago, and have watched her grow and develop into the accomplished woman that she is today. The first indication of her potential was when she served as MC at Showboat. I'm assuming that's still going on. Her quick wit and ability to improvise kept the audience engaged and laughing while moving the production seamlessly along. These same attributes were evident when we heard her speak a couple of times about the evolution of Pixar as part of Syracuse International Film Festival. After graduating from Russell Sage College with a BA in Performing Arts and English, Cynthia pursued employment opportunities focusing on the production side of the entertainment business. Her various roles at Nickelodeon and New Wave Entertainment prepared her well for significant achievements in her career at Pixar Animation Studios, most currently that of Director of Studio Mastering and Operations. If you've seen a Pixar movie, and you can look behind Cynthia to see evidence of them, In the last decade, you've seen and heard the work of Cynthia and her team at Pixar's Mastering and Operations Department, responsible for the creation of the all in progress and final deliverables for teams for Incredibles 2, Coco, Finding Dory, The Dinosaur, Inside Out, Monsters University, Brave, Cars 2 and 3, Toy Story 4, and the most recently released Soul. Cynthia's prior position as post-production supervisor at Pixar involved adapting films to DVD and foreign language formats. She's been honored by the Distinguished Leadership Award by the Advanced Imaging Society at its Entertainment Technology Awards ceremony in California. Locally, Cynthia's accomplishments were recognized when she was featured in Women of Upstate New York magazine. As you see here tonight, FM schools give graduates a sound education for success and should be proud of these inductees' accomplishments. Congratulations, Cynthia, on achieving this well-deserved honor.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ryan, Mr. Ryan. This means a lot, especially coming from the two of you. I'm a proud member of the class of 1988, and I should say that I did toy with the idea of using my opportunity to speak to you today to quibble about USA Today's rankings of Pixar's 23 films that they published last week, until I saw that they picked Monsters, Inc. as number one. Monsters is my favorite Pixar movie, as it's the one that inspired me to want to work for the studio. When the movie came out in 2001, I was working for Nickelodeon at the time, and they arranged a special screening of Monsters for us. And as the credits rolled at the end of the film, I turned to the person sitting next to me and I said, I'm going to work for those guys. While acknowledging the inherent privilege which many of us from the FM community walk through the world, I credit the education that I received there, in which we were encouraged to reach for the challenging, for the seemingly impossible, while with making this a goal I was able to achieve. It's worth noting that I celebrated my 15th anniversary with the studio over the weekend. I was one of those rare birds at FM who went all the way K through 12, from Enders Road to Eagle Hill to the high school. And this may be more common nowadays, but I think there were only 7 or 8 of us in the class of 88 who could say that was true. And to say that FM has been the key to any professional success I've had would be an understatement. It lay the foundation for my path. Along that journey, I had the great fortune to be mentored and supported by some outstanding educators. Marcelyn Pelly, my 4th grade teacher at Enders Road, with whom I corresponded until well into my 30s. Tom Hennigan, Len Pajali, Pam Kissel, Liz Kolodny, Faith Ball, Ron Searle, Marty Alderman, and Tim Jackson, our class advisor, whose unfailing patience with us and excellent sense of humor, and I dare say that those two had to go hand in hand, made learning engaging and hilarious, and I owe a debt of gratitude to each of them. I'm humbled to be part of this group, and while I may not be working to save the world in quite the same way as my fellow inductees, I like to think that Pixar is doing a little bit to make the world a better place, or at least playing a small role in raising the world's children. I want to thank Pam and Ed Ryan for nominating me. Honestly, it means so much to be recognized by the two of you who I care about so much and respect so deeply. I also want to thank the selection committee for believing me worthy of this honor. I am profoundly grateful. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my team at Pixar. These are people who are literally the best in the business, and they make me look good every day. And were it not for them, I dare say I would not be here talking with you. There's so many others to thank, many of whom are watching today, and you know who you are. Last but not least, I want to thank my parents, Nancy and Bob Slavens, for giving me not only life, but for setting that life within the Fayetteville-Manlius community. You did me and my brothers a solid when you made that choice, and we're all better for it. So thank you for that. And thank you to Dr. Tyson, again, to the selection committee. I'm very grateful.
Well, congratulations, Cynthia. Well done. Thank you very much for joining us today as well. And now, without further ado, we'll move to our third honoree. And to introduce Eric, we have Heather Waters here. Heather.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Heather Waters, and I'm a member of the class of 1995, but I had a wonderful friend and classmate from 1994 named Eric Tars, and I am joined along with Casey Corcoran from the class of 94, Josh Dubansky, 95, Kristen Lyon, 96, and Liz Nord, 1995 in congratulating Eric Tars on his acceptance into the FM Hall of Distinction. Eric's career and character reflect FM's commitment and values, and he has made an outstanding social contribution by leading a movement around decriminalizing homelessness. And his policy work and advocacy has been recognized by governments and organizations on the local, state, national, and global level. We are so lucky to have Eric as a Hornet. His kindness and his accomplishment as a student throughout his elementary, middle, and high school years was memorable. Eric was a standout MUN, Model United Nations student, who ended up at the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland for real. Today, Eric lives in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and he brings his family back to Fayetteville to visit with his parents and neighbors, the Nicholsons, who might as well be family. Affectionately called Eek by many, Eric travels to cycle with FM classmates, and he teaches his daughters to skateboard. Eric serves as the National Homelessness Law Center's legal director, leading its human rights, civil rights, and children's rights programs, and managing its cutting-edge litigation, strategic policy advocacy, and outreach and training. Eric helped spearhead the launch of the Law Center's national, this is hashtag Housing Not Handcuffs campaign, which purports that whether or not one looks at it from an economic, moral, or legal perspective, providing housing is a much better option than addressing homelessness by criminalizing it. Eric has served as counsel of record in multiple precedent-setting cases, including Martin v. Boise in the Ninth Circuit, and is frequently quoted in national and local media, including NPR, Associated Press, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Vice News. And in late 2019, so this is a fitting time to honor Eric as well, Human Rights Magazine named Eric and his colleagues human rights heroes for their work on behalf of those experiencing homelessness and poverty, their commitment to improving the conditions of those suffering from economic injustice, and their dedication to advancing human rights domestically. He was also recognized by the American Bar Association. One thing that's great to note about the case that went to the Supreme Court, they decided not to argue the case and let the Ninth Circuit, so Martin v. Boise, went to the Supreme Court after the Ninth Circuit, but they decided not to argue it and let the Ninth Circuit court ruling stand. And as a result of his work, the incoming Biden administration has named housing as a right for the first time since FDR. So, you know, I have a few more things to say because this man is a treasure to all who know him, and I'll be done in just a moment and let him speak. But, you know, Eric was also a fellow with Global Rights' U.S. Racial Discrimination Program, and he consults with the Columbia University Law School Human Rights Institute, U.S. Human Rights Network, and he currently serves as the vice chair there of the network's board. He received his JD magna cum laude as a global law scholar at the Georgetown University Law Center. He received his BA magna cum laude in political science from Haverford College and studied international human rights in Vienna at the Institute for European Studies and at the University of Vienna. He teaches human rights advocacy as an adjunct professor at Drexel University Klein School of Law. So while homelessness is not very visible within our district, we know that there are students and neighbors who experience food and housing insecurity. And Central New York faces this as a crisis, and including K through 12 districts and nearby school districts. So Eric has made an impact here at home already. He brought the Housing Not Handcuffs campaign right to Syracuse, right to Onondaga County, and worked with the mayor and county leaders to ensure that we didn't have that panhandling law that criminalizes people who panhandle. And he worked to make sure that we could develop a day labor program here, and also, you know, working to help us address our affordable housing needs. So I just think that we are so lucky to call you a Hornet again. We love you, Eric. Congratulations. And so I wish you could be physically here, and I hope you will get to meet up with some students and come back to the FM campus soon. Congratulations, E.
Thank you so much, Heather and Josh and Casey and Kristen and Liz for nominating me, and to Dr. Tice and the committee for selecting me. This is the first award where I'm actually expected to give some sort of acceptance speech, and now I finally understand why all those Oscar and Emmy acceptance speeches are all thank yous. This strong feeling of gratitude I have tonight that makes me feel that if I deserve this award, then so do the many others who helped get me to this point and continue to support me. So I'll start with thanking my wife, Melissa, and my daughters, Mona and Opal, because they are the ones who are there for me daily, and my parents, Sandy and Arvo Tars, who got me through my years at FM with all the ups and downs that included. I've reached out also to many of the FM teachers who are part of making me who I am, and I've thanked most of them individually already, so I'll avoid listing all of their names. But I do have to call out Barry Miller, who's literally tens of thousands of extracurricular hours on Model UN led me from practice sessions in his classroom to the actual sessions at the Hall of Nations in Geneva. As a human rights advocate, I must also thank the Onondaga Haudenosaunee tribe, whose land I grew and learned on. I would not have had the privilege of getting the education I did without the value of their stolen land being added to our school budget, compounding annually. I also owe much to the federal government's mortgage subsidies, which helped to build wealth and opportunity in the Syracuse suburbs, a benefit which accrued to white families but was denied to many Black and brown ones. And my hope is that every current FM student learns these truths during their time at FM, as the gratitude for that opportunity is important to guide us all on our way to a more just future. I've always been aware that but for the accident of my birth in this country, I could have grown up in a refugee camp like my father did, and I've always felt that I'm therefore obligated to use the privileges I have to help others. And for the past 15 years, I've been lucky to be able to focus my career on protecting the civil and human rights of people experiencing homelessness. With the writing skills from FM's English department, the creativity from its arts programs, the global and civic awareness from its social studies and foreign language teachers, and analytical skills from math and science teachers, and of course, the incredible friendships I fostered along the way, I have been able to make a difference. Work I've done from the UN and Geneva to Congress and the Supreme Court means that people experiencing homelessness are sleeping safer tonight than they were before. And so on behalf of myself and all those who find themselves without housing or who never become homeless as a result of my efforts to prevent it, thank you to FM for this recognition and for the education that led to it. I look forward to future visits to FM and giving back in person once it's safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric, and congratulations. And now, last but not least, we are honored to have Dottie Andrews here to introduce Michael.
Well, thank you, and thank the district, the selection committee. In 2017, I attended my husband's 50th Fayetteville-Manlius High School reunion. And the reunion committee arranged for a tour of the high school. And what really stuck out with me was the Hall of Distinction and all the very impressive contributions that these former students have made. It got me to thinking about Michael's contributions to the plight of children with burn problems and orthopedic problems, and how Michael helped to educate the public about the first-class free care at Shriners Hospitals through Shriners International. The care at these hospitals is state-of-the-art and free to all patients, regardless of their family's ability to pay. I nominated him based on his many accomplishments with this organization, and I'm excited that he was chosen for this recognition. It is well-deserved and quite an honor. Thank you again.
All right. Am I up?
You're up.
All right. Thanks, Dot. Thank you, Dr. Tice, and thank you, Sarah, for all that you've done to organize this Zoom conference. I guess like everybody else, I wish we could all be there, but it's just not possible with the circumstances going on in our world today. But I want to tell everybody, and I can't thank Dottie enough, what she's meant to me. I've enjoyed if I've enjoyed any success over the last 37 years, Dottie has been a part of it. She's my soulmate. She's my rock, and she's always been there for me. Even though she went to Liverpool High School, I have to say I've never held that against her. So I guess my comments are going to be a little bit different tonight. I'm not going to repeat any of the recognitions that I've received in the past. I always feel awkward when I talk about them. I feel awkward when I receive them. I guess when I was notified that I was going to be installed into the Hall of Distinction, my first reaction was, I wonder if they have the right Mike Andrews. I had to go to the yearbook to see if there was another Mike Andrews. I don't know how many watching tonight are aware of this, but I recently learned that Fayetteville-Manlius was named by U.S. News and World Report as one of the top high schools in America. So for me, receiving this recognition in view of the fact that it's one of the top high schools in America is extra special to me. In fact, if you notice, I'm wearing my FM hat tonight, even though I was graduated. I graduated in 1967, over 50 years ago, and I live in Florida. Well, I still bleed green and white. And so that's why I'm wearing the hat tonight. That and the fact that it hides my ever receding hairline. So I never feel worthy, though, of recognition, certainly a recognition like this, but I'm very appreciative to be recognized. I was really just an average student at FM. I wasn't somebody who was in the National Honor Society. I didn't take calculus or Russian as my second language. But one thing that I learned during my years at FM was that being a Hornet always meant having the confidence to pursue what you thought might have been unattainable. I took that away from my high school experience, and I've kept that philosophy through the rest of my life. So for me, being viewed in the same light today as the people that have been mentioned earlier, and the FM grads who were selected for the honor over the past 20 years, it's very special to me. I have to thank God for giving me the faith to pursue my dreams. I have to thank my wife, Dottie, and also my parents, both of whom are no longer with us, but they sacrificed a great deal for me and helped me in every aspect of my life. And a special shout out, as they say, to the kids who inspired me over the years at Shriners Hospitals. I'll always be a proud Hornet. And again, it's an honor for me to be recognized today and included in the FM Hall of Distinction. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you.
And congratulations to all four of our recipients this evening. The Hall of Distinction has been a proud and long tradition here at Fayetteville-Manlius, and not only will your plaques adorn the wall forever and ever, but we hope you will accept as a small token of our appreciation. We sent out to you the awards for your personal collection. Thanks, Eric. On cue. Everybody has them. That's good. And we hope you'll just accept that small token of appreciation on behalf of the entire governance team here, the Board of Education, administration, faculty, and staff of the Fayetteville-Manlius District. While we've been unable to gather together in person to celebrate your accomplishments, I think it's important to remember that you did overshoot the mark. The criteria for selection indicates that our graduates that are eligible for the Hall of Distinction have really exemplified the tenets of the FM's educational philosophy throughout their lives, and are meeting one or both of the following criteria, including outstanding social contribution to the broader community by making a difference in the lives of others, and outstanding professional contribution and achievement in their field of endeavor. And I'm proud to say that all four of you have overshot the mark and have certainly continued this proud tradition that was started years ago with our FM Education Foundation and the district, and we're proud of that partnership and very excited to have you here this evening. So please accept our heartiest congratulations, and we welcome you to the Hall of Distinction. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Now you're welcome to join us for our Board of Education. It's not nearly as exciting as this part, but you're welcome to join us for that. But I know Sarah will make some adjustments here as we shift to the Board of Education meeting this evening. So stay safe, be healthy, and thank you all for joining us.
Bye all. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.